Good afternoon, my friends. This is Paul, and today I'm going to be reviewing to you The Suicide of Rachel Foster for the Nintendo Switch. I got this game for $2, and I also got $120 worth of eShop credit for Christmas. So that's why I was a little bit late, is because I initially thought that I didn't need to play this game because I saw a streamer playing it, but I thought, $2 isn't going to be that bad. But then I looked at the collective internet's opinions after I beat it, and it seems like they despise this game, both critics and fans alike, which is pretty rare to see. And they say that it actively is harmful and insensitive towards people that have experienced suicide, pedophilia, or grooming, or really any kind of sexual misactivity. And while I agree with them, I do think this is one of the worst stories I've ever experienced. And I also do believe that it's actively harmful. When I told my mom the twist endings, she was so shocked that she wanted me to make a statement saying that I should tell people not only to boycott this game, but to boycott the entire studio. That's been done to death already. There was even one YouTuber, I'll link the video in the description if you want to view it for yourself, that called this the most disgusting game she had ever played. And while, again, I agree with these people, I don't want to focus on that for this review. I'm going to focus on why I still think this is a terrible game in terms of the other stuff it has to offer in the gameplay department. First off, pretty much every lousy game at least has some silver lining. The graphics are absolutely gorgeous. Even on the Switch, you can see stuff like reflections when the light hits certain walls, and there's just a lot of detail packed into the environment. It does feel like this is what a hotel in 1993 would feel like, and it feels like you could put a real person into this place. I don't know who would want to be in this particular hotel, but it could theoretically be done, and it feels very believable. The sound design in general is also magnificent as well, as your footsteps differ depending on what surface you're on. The voice actors do an amazing job of sounding convincing without seeming like they are actors. Overall, this game is best experienced with headphones, as there are certain times in the game where certain things will only come out of one ear, and that'll help you determine where it is. And overall, it just does a really great job of immersing you auditorially wise. But then the problems come from everything else in the game, and I am about to rip this game to shreds. First off, the controls are absolutely abysmal. The only thing that's even remotely good about the controls is that you press A to interact with objects, but that's like basic game design. Even some of the worst games I've ever played have that as an option. To run, you have to press in on the left stick, which is clumsy and annoying for a game that isn't a first-person shooter. It constantly kept making me feel like I was about to burn my thumb, because normally when I press in on a left stick in a game, it's when I'm not moving, but to do it while you're moving and then to keep doing it if you turn too much. I wish there was just a button that could be used to toggle the run cycle on and off. The Y button isn't used at all, so why wasn't that accounted for here? Then there's the issue of the turning. You actually have an option to adjust turn sensitivity. So a lot of times this definitely feels like it would be better suited to a PC than to the Switch, with how you have to have the camera in very specific angles. There is a map that you can pull up, but the map is so lousy that it might as well not even exist. Only once in the entire game did I actively use the map to try to figure out where I was going, and even then it wasn't helpful enough to tell me where I was supposed to go, so I had to look it up online, and yeah, sure enough, I wouldn't have figured that out without going online. And sometimes the map will have a thing on the bottom right that will tell you what your current objective is. But sometimes it's either really vaguely worded, it's ridiculously specific, or sometimes it doesn't appear at all. In one case, I was told that I had to heat up a can of beans, and it said heat them up in the microwave. But the thing is, there's multiple microwaves in the hotel, including one that's right next to a proper kitchen. But the game didn't tell me that that was the wrong microwave. I had to go all the way back downstairs to a very specific microwave in the kitchen area, and then I had to just awkwardly sit there while the microwave actually cooked up the beans. Like, what is this, Majora's Mask, where you have to wait around for things to happen? Then there was another point in the game where the character apparently sleepwalked and she didn't have any of her items, and you couldn't even pull up the map. And I was like, is my game broken? What the heck is going on? Why is it that I can't even figure out where I'm going? Only to yet again have to look on the internet and be told that I lost all my stuff and had to reclaim it. And then the game said, oh, I must have dropped all of my stuff in my sleep. Like, you couldn't have told me that before? Like, is this character incapable of having an internal monologue on her own? Speaking of monologues, there's really only two characters in this game. Your main character, Nicole, and an agent from FEMA, which is like this protection company that's trying to make sure that Nicole is safe. His name is Irving, and he calls her via a very primitive early 90s cell phone. And the two of them are constantly talking and joking around, and honestly, the voice actors do a believable job, but the writing doesn't. It often feels very corny, like the jokes don't really land, and sometimes they talk for way too long and there's no way to skip their dialogue. In fact, sometimes you've already pieced together what you have to do next by paying attention to Irving's hints, but then the game doesn't let you actually do what you need to do until after the phone call ends. In fact, there's even literally a prompt that is grayed out, and it won't turn properly white until after the phone call is finished. Like, is there no interrupt option? Other games like this let you do that. Why not this one? But then there are other times where it's the opposite extreme, where you wish that they would pick up the phone, but for some reason they don't, and you just happen to have to wander around a bit until they decide that they're going to start talking, and then you figure out what you're going to do. In one particularly bad example, the game gives you a riddle to solve, but the game has no option to catalog what was said between the two characters. Like most visual novels have the option to go back and reread the text, but not in this game. If you were dozing off or not paying attention, your only option to replay the dialogue is either to look at an online walkthrough or restart the entire chapter. While this game does have an autosave feature, there's no manual save, so it's not possible to save mid-chapter. Then again, some of the chapters are really short and there's not that many of them, but it's still really inconvenient when the game makes you think that the game has crashed or that it's buggy and glitchy when it really isn't, and it's just not giving you the information you need. I definitely had a few times where I reset the game thinking that something was wrong, only for a walkthrough to say that this arbitrary task had to be done for the game to make you think that it needed to proceed to the next scripted event. So overall, it was a very confusing game, terribly controlled, with a horrible story that is actively glorifying pedophilia, as well as doing very harmful tactics that could potentially increase the suicide rates of people that experience that phenomena. The ending is absolutely atrocious. Not only does it feel like it comes out of nowhere, but it I don't want to say too much because I honestly hope you guys don't even get that far, but it's really disgusting and definitely is not for the faint of heart. I hope that you guys will take my mom's advice and do not give this company even a penny of your money. Don't rent this. I don't think you can, but even so, don't rent it. Don't wait for it to go on sale, even for as low as I got it for. Don't look up a walkthrough. Just pretend this game didn't exist and find better examples of how to tackle suicide and pedophilia in games. With that, thank you very much for watching. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions or critiques. I would like to thank my patrons Matthew Rakowski, Sploon Ghost, and Splatcat for supporting me financially during this time. And until the next time, I hope you all have a great day, and remember to keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Bye!